Thanks for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an e-commerce and dropshipping business for sale in the toys and games niche. Created in February 2007, this business makes $4,645 per month in net profit, and the listing number for this business is 41030. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the businesses they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Edward.
Thank you.
Yeah, before we begin, I just wanted to dive into the summary of the business for everyone out there listening in. So the business was built in February 2007, has a monthly revenue of $12,110 with expenses sitting at $7,465 for that total net profit of $4,645. Included with the sale of the business is the domain, site content, the social media accounts, and an email list with 600 plus subscribers. So Edward, all that being said, could you just briefly describe your background in building and running online businesses? I know that you said before you came on you have a full-time job as well with this. So is this one of many online side hustles you've done, or is it the main one?
I've actually started out with a sporting goods company, believe it or not, and that was my first test in the e-commerce world. And I did it for like a year, and the profit margins were very, very low. It was something that I could never, I guess, recoup, anything as far as profit goes. So I just kind of fell into, I guess, the toy industry. I kind of had a like for it as a kid, and it's come a long way from the little action figures that had, eyes with little dots on them, like, Captain America. And now it's like, it looks just like the real actor, and I just I started looking online, and when I built the store, I actually designed it myself. I did all the work and tried to keep up with the latest code so I could, make pictures bigger, and I was just impressed with it. And in the first year, I think I made $3,000, It kind of grew from there.
I bet it was quite a different world in the e-commerce space back in 2007 versus now in terms of user friendliness.
Oh, yeah. And the look. I mean, you look at a site now, and if it looked like my site did when I started it, you'd probably think that it was some kind of scam.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen some pretty old sites, so I know exactly what you're talking about there. So you came up with this idea, basically, it sounds like a little bit of, maybe not necessarily a passion, but certainly an interest. I don't want you to go into too much with details, like we don't want to give away the niche or the URL or anything like that. But that being said, for someone looking at this business, maybe they're not super familiar with drop shipping and maybe even e-commerce in general, and they're looking to acquire this one as one of their first assets. Could you just, a couple sentences, describe how it's making money right now?
We do different drop ships. Like we have, I guess, depending on the niche, I'm not sure how much detail you want me to go into with what we sell, but we sell a variety of different things. The toys and stuff come from one drop ship / warehouse where we actually not only do drop ship with them, but they're a distributor, so we can purchase from them to create inventory. A lot of our stuff is like pre-order. So, we would pre-order something from a distributor, and actually, as customers are placing orders, we can actually place orders and get a lower discount if we actually purchase it direct.
So yeah, I think that's a great description. One of the benefits of drop shipping, of course, is you're not holding any of the product yourself in the warehouse, right? So the product is only shipped after you make a sale, which is super nice and on a lot of different factors. You're making a pretty healthy profit per month, and you're also, the business has been around for a while. So why are you selling the business? Why not just keep it and keep growing it?
Well, last year around October, I got married, and I spent a lot of time with my wife, and we get along very, very well. So it's more of a decision to spend more time with her and actually to kind of grow our relationship, So it's not that I want to get rid of it. It's probably something that'll make our relationship stronger.
Gotcha. It is looking for a little bit more time to spend with loved ones and family, things along that nature, eh?
Right.
Cool. Are you planning on a romantic cruise or something like that with the money then after the sale?
Yeah, right. Actually, I proposed to her on a cruise, and
nice. Very cool.
And we're actually selling the business and selling the house I live in now, and it's kind of all
totally downsizing. Nice.
Yeah, right.
So when you started this business, you already mentioned earlier, it sounded like it was kind of a slow start back in 2007. Could you just kind of describe those first few weeks and months of what you were doing?
Well, the first few weeks and months, I was actually like trying to get product online. And I remember one phone call in particular, a guy was like, "Are you really a business?" And I actually took my phone, actually, because he says, "You answer the phone all the time," you know. So my coworker, who works for the same company that I work for full time, actually, I said, "Hey, can you answer this call and tell him I'm a real company?" And I mean, I was just happy to sell anything, and it just kind of grew from there. And now somebody like that would be like, well, if you don't think I'm a real company, you can buy from someone else.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny. I do remember back in the day, it was a leap of faith to really buy something online. You put your credit card out there and all that stuff. And now it's just like every day, it's no big deal. Everyone's doing it.
Right, it is.
Back then, it's definitely a different era. Is there anything you learned from this business in particular? Like, let's say you were going to start another business. Is there anything, like one thing you did with this business that worked really well for you that you would apply to another business?
I would just, let me think. I've learned a lot of things because I've been in business for a long time. But I took on inventory with this business. And I would say that I wouldn't take on as much inventory. It's always good to have some just as a backup. But yeah, I would take on less inventory if I started again.
So you did initially take inventory. Are you still, but you're not doing inventory right now, are you? Or
Yes, I do. I hold inventory. I'm actually trying to sell some of it aside right now to kind of downsize that portion of the business. But yeah, I actually use the drop shippers. And since a lot of the stuff that I sell is limited edition, every once in a while, when I see something I think is going to be a good seller, I'll pick up extra pieces.
gotcha, I understand. So is there anything you tried with the business that didn't work? Something you thought was going to be successful that just wasn't as successful as you'd hoped it would be?
Well, I did Google AdWords myself, and I like bombed that. I mean, I probably went through my budget in 3 days because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, it could be a risky endeavor with paid traffic. When you turn on that water faucet, it can really, really go.
Yeah, I learned my lesson really quick. It probably took a month or two, and I'm like, no, I can't do this.
So speaking of traffic, where are you getting your traffic from? I'm assuming it's not AdWords. Is it organic, like SEO, referral? Where are you getting people to come to your site?
We get a lot of business actually through AdWords. I
Oh, you
actually,
do? Okay.
yep.
So you figured it out, or what happened there?
No, I just paid someone else to do it.
The ultimate leverage.
Yeah, and then I tell them what my budget is, and they do their thing. So I do a little on the Facebook. I'll boost something. I don't think personally in it me because I'm no ad expert, but I don't see the return too much on it. It mostly brings people to the site, kind of they may come back later, and word of mouth, of course, because I'm very good at returning phone calls and, any issues that may come up with like any business. You have a customer that gets something broken, it's addressed immediately. So they pass the word on to their friends.
It's good. How many products do you have currently for sale, and is that consistently the same since a lot of them are limited edition, so I'm assuming they eventually, aren't made anymore. So you probably have a bit of a churn in what kind of inventory you're selling, yeah?
Right. So some of it is standard and it stays the same. So there's about 1,000 items that just continuously from like two drop shippers. And then the limited edition pieces, those I say there's about 1,000 online, and I kind of pick and choose what I put online. I don't like to put like something that's $5 because you're going to lose everything.
Right.
That customer's going to pay more for shipping than they are for the product. So so I kind of try and keep the value of the item up. The higher the better, because the higher it is, the better your price. Your margin is. So.
Of course. How stable are your earnings? Is there any kind of seasonality with this business?
There is. In the summer, it kind of drops off a little. I would say it goes in through the summer, probably June and July, I'd say would probably be the slowest months, maybe toward the end of May. And then August starts picking back up of course, people start buying for Christmas, Halloween, so.
And you also had a little bit of a dip in your earnings. Would you mind exploring that? What happened there and what you did to recover from it?
Sure. Actually, the dip was due to us moving over to a new platform. Of course, when you move to a new platform, you want 301 redirects and all that stuff. And if they're not there right, it kind of doesn't help with your SEO and stuff like that. And also, there's a little bit of a problem I had. I actually didn't realize it, but our PayPal wasn't working properly for about a month and a half, and we lost some momentum there. And actually, it's good it happened in the summer months, in those slow months, because we're starting to pick up now. I'm actually seeing over the past couple of days things turning around.
Awesome. That's good to hear that you got fixed. So is PayPal your main payment acceptor or merchant vendor, or do you have other ones as well?
We use a merchant and we use PayPal. We try to use both of them. It kind of works out I'd say almost 50-50 because I guess some people are more comfortable paying PayPal. Some people are more comfortable using a credit card. But it all depends on the customer. And for pre-order items, it makes sense for a customer to use a credit card because, we don't bill them until it actually ships.
Right. That's good to know. So let's pretend you're going to keep this business. What would you do to grow it that would be the least risky path?
Let's see, to grow the business, I'd have to learn more about ads. The advertising is, I guess, the key. Marketing, PR, showing up at some of these events, because they have events all the time. And if I would take some time and go to some of these events and set up booths, I would probably be able to grow it a lot more.
On the flip side here, let's say you were incredibly risky, you just kind of threw caution to the wind. Would you do anything differently to grow the business, as quickly as humanly possible?
No, I think actually slow and steady is the way to go with the business because if you get too far ahead of yourself, you're just going to dig a hole.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a pretty good answer. If you grow too big, the growing pains might be too painful.
Yeah.
Grow too big too fast, at least.
Yeah, you got to figure out how to get staffing, all that stuff.
Exactly.
And it's I just think that slow is the way to go.
It's funny how quick success is often the true nightmare of entrepreneurs. It's oh no, what am I going to do?
Actually, I've been scared of that myself because every once in a while I'll be there's a product that somebody really, really wants and everybody sold out but me. And it just starts, I get a little nervous because it's no, don't buy too much.
Oh, that's funny. What do you think the biggest risk is with a business like this that buyers should be aware of before they purchase it?
Well, of course, time management, because, if you don't have the time to run a business, you get back what you put into it. So if you work hard, you're going to succeed. If you, think it's going to run on autopilot, you're going to fail. So, it takes a little bit of balance. So you have to balance your life. You have to balance your business.
Yeah, that's a good point. You definitely need to be aware of your time as you go about building businesses like these. And that kind of moves into my next point. What kind of work are you doing right now on a weekly or monthly basis to maintain the business as it's currently sitting?
Well, of course, respond to customer emails almost immediately and phone calls. Most of our phone calls, though, go through an 800 number where it actually they leave a voicemail. But of course, I pick them up as soon as I possibly can and return them the calls right away. But there's adding products. I deal with a distributor who actually puts new products out every day. And to stay ahead of the game, you can add a few products a day and possibly take a few products off that you really, you're not seeing any bites on it as far as the limited edition pieces. Besides that, just processing orders and making sure that everything runs smooth.
What kind of skills would you suggest for someone to have if they're not familiar with this niche? Is there anything that comes to mind that someone should be able to do before they purchase this business?
Well, it's kind of trial and error because I'm on a new platform now. So I'm still learning how to, I don't know if you know what a CSV file is, but you can bulk upload stuff to the site, So I'm actually still learning to do that on this new platform. I knew how to do it on the last one before that. But this particular platform, still kind of nervous about doing it, because I haven't done it very much.
Okay, yeah, migrating a new platform can be a headache for
Yes.
sure in that sense. Moving to some wrap-up questions here, Edward. Would you be willing to commit to a non-compete with the buyer?
Absolutely. Of course, I have some inventory, so either they would have to agree for me to sell it outright or purchase it, or, because I don't want to be stuck with that.
How much support would you be willing to offer that buyer?
As much as I can. I mean, if they want to purchase the business and they turn around and they need help, adding product or, I'm willing to help. I don't know what the norm is for somebody to learn, but, even after the fact, if it was over and they called me and say, hey, look, I'm running into something I've never run into, I'd be happy to help them.
Of course, within reason, that you don't want to still be the guy answering every single call after those.
Right. Every call, right? It's not my company anymore, right?
I'm not a business anymore. You can finally say
That's
it.
right. That's a good point.
So obviously the best case scenario here for Empire Flippers and for you is someone comes in and buys the business outright for, full list price. But that being said, would you at all be open to a split or earn out, say 80% up front, 20% after completing some kind of training threshold, or perhaps 20% after some kind of earn out period? Would you be open to that?
I could do something like that.
Awesome. I got one more question for you, Edward. Before I ask you my final question, I just want to give a quick summary of the business again for everyone out there listening in. As I mentioned at the top, it was built in February 2007, has a monthly revenue of $12,110 with expenses sitting at $7,465 for that net profit of $4,645. And that is over a 6-month average. Included with the sale of this business is the domain, site content, social media accounts, as well as the email list with over 600 plus subscribers. So my final question for you, Edward, is what is your best pitch on why someone should purchase this business?
I would say if you're grown up with a kid, being a kid at heart, and you like to look at these really expensive items and you really can't afford them, then it's a business for you.
Excellent. I like the fact that it's so old in terms of age domain. There's definitely an SEO play that can be done there. You've already outsourced some AdWords stuff, so I think that's really interesting as well. And obviously, there's potential to optimize that email list for even further sales and further promotion. So I think that's really cool as well. For everyone out there, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want more information, the link will be below this video that would take you to the marketplace listing. Now, if you're watching this on the actual listing page and you want more information, you can become a depositor today. All you have to do is click the button, make a deposit, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. So, Edward, thank you so much for coming out, man. It was an absolute pleasure.
It was a pleasure as well, Greg. Thank you.